Good morning, Tribal Jazzman Scholar. I was doing a little yoga and facing the sun, and I was thinking about the sun rising in the sky, and then the mechanistic scientific brain of mine reminded me, no, the sun's not moving, the Earth's moving around the sun. And I said, but my perception is that the sun is rising. But the scientific explanation is not that the sun is rising, that the sun is stationary and the Earth is rotating. And I was sort of caught in that paradox that perception tells me something else altogether. And in a way, I don't know any people who say the sun doesn't rise or the sun doesn't set. In other words, we have the facts of the matter, which is the scientific explanation, and yet we have the perception of the situation, which is the sun's moving up across the sky. And I think that as science has continued to give us more and more concrete information, we have begun to question our perception to such a degree that we actually are willing to believe modern biology that this organism is a machine, and that if you could fully analyze, which they cannot do yet, the egg and the sperm that fertilizes the egg, if you could do an analysis of them prior to conception, you could make a prediction about every single thing that the organism would become, how it would look, and even perhaps how it would live and what it would think. Because if everything is mechanistic, it should be something determined by DNA. There's a lot of problems in biology, which the biologists are confident can be resolved through physics and chemistry and scientific method as we know it, laws of the universe. But these problems are persistent and they're significant. The cells that form the skin, the muscle, the bone, and the tendons of my arm are the same cells forming the skin, bones, tendons, and muscles of my legs. They're the same cells, and yet they produce this form versus the leg. So it's a complex issue how the morphology, the physical form, actually happens. And there's an assumption that this is all a response to DNA and genome sequences, and yet there's such an unusual process in the development of certain blood cells, the hemoglobin, in the folding of proteins. There's such a complexity that is yet to be resolved, and there is so much embedded mystery that we really are needing more comprehensive explanations, and some of which have been put forward, which are not an entirely materialistic, deterministic explanation about how life forms become this physical, morphological entity. Some of the theories put forth are provocative and challenge the deterministic, materialistic, scientific view that this is purely a machine responding to immutable physical laws of the universe, that there appears to be evidence, or at least theories, that help answer very complicated, mysterious questions about the organism, which biology has to date failed to answer. So the sun is rising? Yep, it is definitely rising. And yet, is the Earth rotating around the sun? Yes. So I am inclined to say we need to be willing to embrace a comprehensive idea that allows for what perception tells me, and that also perhaps integrates laws of mathematics, science, physics, chemistry, biology. There must be some way we can reconcile this apparent persistent contradiction on so many levels. It's something to work towards. Tribal Jazzman Scholar, thanks.